Can I build anywhere on the map? No. Building happens in the Heartland valleys and is disallowed outside of them. Additionally, some areas in the Heartlands that would break gameplay are restricted. For example, the Heartlands feature a pre-made road network and you cannot build on top of roads. You cannot build underground either. However, we do allow building on water, and indeed, waterfront buildings look amazing. I mean, they're not wrong. In some cases, this does allow for building a bridge. Can I set up my plot on a dungeon entrance? No. We want to guarantee that PvE areas that should be accessible to all are accessible to all, and it is unlikely that you will find a dungeon entrance in the Heartlands. Can I build in PvP areas? And if yes, in a permanent way. We don't want to go into any details on PvP right now, which will be covered in the FAQ dedicated to PvP. I'm going to speculate and say initially this won't be available, but as the game advances, they may look at allowing something like this to enable clan wars, but let's see what unfolds. Do I absolutely need a plot to build a house? Building only happens on plots, but the plots have a permission system that allows them to be shared between players. So short answer is yes, you will need a plot to build, but this doesn't necessarily mean it is your plot. For example, if you have a group of friends and form a clan together, you can have multiple shared houses in multiple locations and work on these together. Can I take resources from abandoned structures? Yes. If a player tears down a plot, the items left behind become available to other players. Does this mean that I could potentially claim larger, more complex buildings with my plot? And if so, can they be larger than you'd normally be allowed to build in your single plot size? Can't claim the pre-made buildings, but you will be able to build extremely large buildings using the plot permissions sharing inside clans. What could be some reasons to visit other players' settlements? Could we get access to rare material or recipes? Could we get access to their books or other discoveries? We don't want to go into specifics on this right now, but let's just say trading will be a large part of Pax Dei. There might also be additional reasons you want to visit other people, like politics. Can I build a house on someone else's plot? Yes, if they've given you permission to do this. Can I block access to my plot to everyone or to part of my clan? You cannot restrict access to your plot per se, but you can restrict who can access anything you build on the plot. Can people come to my plot and steal what's in my house? Can they destroy it? Only the players you've given permission to access your constructions on your plot can access your things. And yes, they can destroy it, but also help you build more. In my previous video, shameless plug, Pax Dei, up and coming MMO, what do we know so far? The developers did say people won't be able to go into your house, break, steal, etc. You will need to specifically grant people permission to allow them to do this. Is there a mechanic that limits the number of structures that I can build? The amount of land available is the only constraint. Each player will get one plot of land you can build on as part of a paid account, and we intend to add mechanisms that allow players to acquire additional plots. As a side note, we've noticed during playtests that clans often appoint a player to be that master builder. So, if you're really into building, try find a guild that wants to make you this person. So if you're the best fisher in the clan, does that make you a master baiter? Are the houses pre-made, or can I build whatever I want? You can build almost whatever you want from the building pieces in the game. The building system features a physics system that forces structural integrity on the buildings, so your buildings will have to make sense from a structural perspective. As an example, while houses can get pretty big, you cannot build a house that's infinitely high. In the long term, will all buildings look more or less the same? We have multiple building piece sets and are looking to add more customization options to the houses. We'd love to eventually have a system that allows you to make a very diverse set of houses that can all look unique. We definitely won't have all these features done by the time the game goes to general availability and plan to keep adding features in the updates. When we go to build on our plots, how forgiving is the building system if we want to change our minds and start over completely, or if we mess up? Can we recoup the supplies equally, or are they lost once placed? We're still debating exactly how much you'll recoup when tearing down the houses, but we want the system to be fairly forgiving. If I link my plot to the plots of my clan and we build a huge castle, what happens if someone decides to leave? is a part of the castle lost? We're well aware of this, and we want to develop mechanisms that allow you to retain that plot of land for the clan. I'm going to take a swing here. I presume what that means is that they need to come up with a fair system where a person can leave and receive some of their investment back, but not all of it, as there does need to be, in my opinion, some penalty for leaving a clan after a promise of committing. Keen to hear your thoughts though. Can I decide to move my plot at any point? In that case, what happens to the building props already on it? Right now, you can move the plot at any time, but you would need to move all the things on the plot by carrying them from one place to another. We intend to offer tools to make this a bit easier, but don't have an ETA for this. What if someone claims a plot in the area we started to populate with my clan to block us and doesn't want to move? Is there any way we can push them out to prevent this from happening? There is no game mechanic at this point to force someone to move. You'd have to talk to the person and convince them to move. Note that the game very much favors cooperation, so there's very little in the game itself that would motivate someone to do this. Someone who dedicates their plot to blocking a clan instead of working with them will have a hard time playing the game. That's fair. How long does a player have to stay idle to lose their buildings? Or what has to happen? We want the game shards to always feel alive, and to ensure this, it doesn't make sense to keep inactive plots forever. Once a player stops playing the game, we'd therefore want to free the plot or plots of land the player has been maintaining, so that other players can occupy the space. We're thinking about setting up a grace period to make sure people don't lose their house by accident, along with ways to allow a returning player to easily rebuild a plot so they don't have to start from scratch. We haven't made a final decision around this yet, and are looking forward to experimenting on this during the alpha test. Please, alpha! They're going to need to find a good balance for this. Not sure what number they will come up with, but if they lean one way more than the other, I can see issues arising. Can I craft furniture and decorative items? Yes! There are a number of items you can build in addition to just buildings, crafters, and chests. For example, you can craft rugs, chairs, tables, etc. The selection of items in the game right now is not extensive, as we haven't gone into full production on this content set, and we're looking to add more. Do they have value in gameplay, or are those just for decorating purposes? Some are usable, and we do want to support full roleplay gameplay, where you can nicely decorate your house also with usable furniture. Lights are especially helpful with the dark nights you'll experience in the game. We don't currently know how extensive this prop set will be by the time you get to play the game, but we will be continuing to develop the game for a very long time, including adding more content over time. Can I customize them to the colors of my clan? The systems have many features to customize the items you can craft, and we have the tech in place to enable features such as the type of wood used to craft an item changes, the look of items made of the wood. We additionally have a system for clans to create their own heraldic symbol, which appears on some of the gear worn by the clan, and we are planning to support this in some items you can craft on your plot. We don't currently know the extent to which we'll support all of these features by the time the game comes out, so we'll share more details on this later. Some really interesting answers, and great insights into the thought process of the developers. I'm looking forward to what they release next. Thanks again as ever for watching. Hope you found this video useful. Take care, be safe, and as always, be kind.